Okay, we are ready to begin our press conference with Alabama players Brandon Miller and Mark Sears. If you would, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Remember to please state your name and affiliation, and no recording is allowed during the press conference. Thank you. Up front.
Yeah, for both you guys, Austin, Alabama Central, only traveling 45 minutes to get here. You're going to have a lot of home fans, both on Thursday and if you win on Saturday. What kind of excitement do you guys have for playing out here in Birmingham this weekend?
Well, one thing, like you said, just the home court advantage. Just being able to have the Alabama fans come 45 minutes away, I think that's the biggest thing with us. Like I've said before, they give us great energy, and we play off them.
Up front. Well, we'll right here, and then we'll go up front.
This is from Mark James Benedetto with Tide Illustrated. When you go back to the summer when you were talking to Nate Oats and talking about transferring, is this what you envisioned would happen?
Yeah, this is exactly what I've envisioned to what happened, to especially what we've been doing in the season. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to come to Alabama.
Here to your right.
For Brandon, Javon Quinterly, around this time last year, quickly into the first round of the game towards ACL. The comeback has been incredible. I talked to his doctor today, 6 months coming back and clicking at the right time. What has he been like with the rehab? I'm sure you saw it, and what does this mean to this team?
Sounds like his story is just a crazy story, just from the ACL tear to, not being able to play a whole year. So I'm really happy for him. I feel like he's just a big brother away from home, just looking to win.
Up front.
Tony Reese, WTPM out of Columbus, Georgia. For both of you, just kind of with all the success y'all have had this season, how do y'all kind of block out the outside noise and really focus in on the goal ahead?
Well, us having the bond that we have, I feel like we all just lean on each other. We know our struggles on and off the court. We know our strengths on and off the court. So I feel like just knowing that just plays a big part in our success on the court.
Yeah, what he said, we love each other like a brother. That leads to on court, just having that bond on the court. So that's leading to our success.
Right here to your left.
There's only been one number one seed that's lost, and that was Virginia to UMBC a couple years ago. How much was that brought up to you, just in terms of making sure that Texas A&M-Corpus Christi is respected?
Well, we only can control how we play. We can't really control how everybody else play. We know how the energy that we need to come out in this first game to get a win. So yeah.
I know you guys got in around 6 o'clock yesterday to your hotel here. What was the 24 hours like? Did you guys watch the game as a group? How did you guys prep for the game tomorrow?
Well, we had a nice dinner, watching the game on a projector. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. Just, our bond is real. We're always together watching games, and I feel like just having that bond starting from May 28th, it's just gotten closer and closer.
Very back.
Jake Stansel, WBRC here in Birmingham. For both of you guys, I know you guys overall number one seed in this tournament for the first time in program history. Do you guys feel any sort of pressure to deliver, or do you guys maybe welcome that pressure?
I say we don't feel any type of pressure because, we go out there and we practice hard, and when you practice hard, you really have you really don't feel any type of pressure when you're playing hard.
Up front.
Hey guys, Steve Pineda with WTVM. So just being so close to home, how does it feel to have the fans being able to travel, basically being in your backyard?
It means a lot. Just to know that they can come 45 minutes away, just be here for us. Like I said, we play off them. They give us the energy that we need when we don't have it. Even away games, we see Alabama fans there, so I feel like they give the energy that we need just to win a game.
Any more questions? Right here.
Yeah, hey, Brandon, I noticed there's a security guy over there. Is this something you're doing regularly now, traveling with security?
I feel like we always travel with security. That's all I'm going to be able to say on that.
Right here and then in the back.
Brandon, y'all were asked about the pressure of being number one overall seed. You guys had a brief run at number one. I mean, do you feel more prepared to handle with everybody as the target on your back, everybody looking at y'all as the favorite?
Like you said, we've been number one during the season. I felt like before we wasn't as prepared, but I feel like now we're more prepared for really anything that comes our way.
Very back.
Brandon, Mark, anything you guys noticed about Texas A&M-Corpus Christi? Any tendencies last night? Anything you got to shut down, watching it last night?
Just watching them last night, we know that they're going to come out, and play us hard. I think any team that's here in this tournament today or this week is going to come out and just give what they have. So we just have to come out and give the energy that we need to win against a good team.
Brandon, Paul Newberry from Associated Press. I think I know the answer to this, but I feel like it has to be asked again. Just with all that's happened with you off the court this season, the stuff, is there any pressure or any burden coming into this? How do you block that out and focus on the NCAA tournament with all the other stuff swirling around?
Like I've said before, I just lean on my teammates. Really, they're here for me like a family away from home.
So having just won the SEC tournament, what's the whole team mentality been like, wanting to just not settle, wanting to go for it again? Just want to get some thoughts on that.
We take it one game at a time, one possession at a time. That's how we're looking at this for right now.
Any more questions? Okay, man, thank you.
Sorry, we have one more question.
Oh, sorry, one more up front.
Question for you, Brandon. So having just won the SEC, the MVP of the tournament, you have another chance to display your abilities on the big stage. Get your thoughts going into this, man. Another opportunity to show what you got.
Well, one thing is, you're right. It is another opportunity. But I mean, without my teammates, I wouldn't be here to this day. They pushed me to be the guy who I am today since May 28th. It's just been all hard work since then, all kind of blood and sweat. So, I mean, I think without them, I wouldn't have had any of the awards that I've achieved. So I'm just really honored and blessed to be here.
Up front.
Overall, encompassing this season, what's been really special amongst you guys? How have y'all been so successful this season?
Just how we bond with each other. I mean, I've never seen a team that bond just like us off the court. So, I mean, we're with each other every day, even at each other's houses. So, I mean, to feel like that just builds everything up just to get closer and closer on the court. So that's how we know each other's strengths and weaknesses. I feel like that plays a big part in who we are today.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are ready for Coach Nate Oats. Coach, if you would, give us an opening statement, and we'll take your questions.
Yeah, we're excited to be playing in Birmingham. When they announced first 2 rounds would be in Birmingham, we knew we'd, have to play well to be able to get to choose our site. The players have done a great job putting together a good season so we could play close to Tuscaloosa so our fans can come support us. So we're excited. First time program history to be a number 1 seed. Excited to come in and try to win a couple games here in Birmingham. We watched the Corpus Christi game last night. They're a good team. It's been done before that the 16s beat a 1. Our players are well aware of that. As a coach, I've been on the other side of this, not a 16-1, but we were a 14 seed playing a 3 seed when I was at Buffalo against Arizona, and they were loaded at the time. So I kind of shared my experience being the lower seeded team coming in, what they're going to be thinking. My assistant Charlie, who just got the job at Georgia Southern, so congrats to him. He's done an unbelievable job for us in 4 years, but he was an assistant at Iowa State when they were in a 3-14 game and got upset. So we've had experiences on both sides that we've shared with these guys. We just finished practice. I think our guys are ready to go. I think we'll be locked in, focused on the scouting report. When the stage gets bigger, the focus on the smaller details becomes much more important, and that's what we've been trying to get our guys to think about, realize, just focus on the little details. They've been doing a good job of that. So we're excited to get the tournament started tomorrow and see where it goes from there.
Okay, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll just start 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Probably should have asked this after the game on Sunday, but we didn't see Namari or Dom. Do you have an update on them? Is that just a decision on your part?
Listen, that was a deal where, we're trying to, it's hard to play 11 guys in every game. We kind of went with the guys that playing well. Stuff started out great. We just kind of rolled with the guys that were playing well at the time. They're both 100% healthy. Thought Namari's had 2 great practices. Would anticipate seeing him early tomorrow based on his last 2 practices and how focused he's been in video sessions and everything. I think Dom's playing really hard, and we'll play him as needed, but there's nothing wrong with either one of them. It's kind of one of those deals where Noah Gurley didn't play in 2 out of our last 4 regular season games, and he averaged 20-plus minutes in the SEC tournament and played really well for us because we've got a really good culture of guys staying engaged and focused and keeping their attitudes right and being ready to play. So I thought Namari's attitude on the bench was unbelievable. Dom's has been great all year. Noah Gurley's been great. So I would anticipate those guys playing.
You mentioned the UMBC Virginia game. Just how did you bring it up with your players? How much did you bring it up? And how do you think this team, going back to November, December, has handled playing some opponents that might not be, the bigger names?
I think we've done well. We have never come out and not taken those opponents seriously. You think about one of our better non-conference opponents was Liberty. I thought our guys came out and played really well, really focused on the scouting report that game. But we haven't talked in depth with the Virginia deal. We just mentioned it. It's happened before. Don't think because you're a 1 seed, you're guaranteed to get out of the first round. It's not guaranteed. It's happened already. Let's be aware of the fact that this team's, they're number 1 in their league in offense and defensive efficiency both. They're a good team. They play really hard. They've got good players. So they're a well-coached team. Coach Lutz, I've known Coach Lutz. I'm good friends with Coach McDermott at Creighton. He coached under McDermott. I've known him for a while. He does an unbelievable job, and they've got this program headed in the right direction. So we just made our players aware of the fact it's been done before, just to kind of heighten their attention to detail, if that makes sense.
Very back, and please remember to state your name and affiliation.
Jake Stansel, WBRC here in Birmingham. Coach, of all the teams you've had in the NCAA tournament, do you feel like this year's team is one of the best teams you've had poised to make a deep run in the tournament?
Yeah, I do. I think we've got a maturity about us a camaraderie, a cohesiveness. The chemistry is great. There's literally nobody jealous about anybody else on this team, which is rare at this level. And the talent level's high. So, you know, the more you guys get to know our group, I think the more you're going to love them, because they really are truly, genuinely concerned about their teammates, and they love each other. So, you know, the group we had 2 years ago I thought was prime too, you know, but we shot 12 of 25 at the free throw line against UCLA and lost in overtime. So, you know, we win that game, who knows what happens from there. So we had a pretty good group 2 years ago. This group's similar, but they're definitely different. You know, we're younger, but I don't think youth means immature. We've got a lot of younger, mature guys. Noah Clowney, Brandon Miller, Jaden Bradley, Rylan. I mean, all four of those freshmen are really mature, and I like the maturity of this group. And like I said, just the chemistry of this group's really, really tight and really close.
Right here to your left.
Right here. John Zeno with Associated Press.
Sorry.
That's all right. We all talk about you guys being so close to home and being able to pack the arena with your fans. Is that an even bigger deal given some of the treatment y'all have received in the last from other arenas around the SEC the last couple months?
Look, it's always nice to play in front of your own fans. I think it gives you a little extra energy. This isn't technically a home game, but I sure hope that Legacy's packed out like a home game, and it's been nice to play in front of our own fans and front of some friendly fans in Coleman. So I hope we've got a similar treatment here at Legacy.
And Nate, Dan Wolken, USA Today. A few minutes ago, I noticed something that I've never seen before in 20 years of doing this, which was an armed security guard accompanying Brandon to the podium. I was just curious what the thinking is behind that, and how often do you have security with him right now, and when did it start?
If you guys saw some of what I've seen sent his way, I think you'd understand why that's the case, and I don't want to get into all that. It's the entire situation, as you know, it's just a heartbreaking situation on all accounts, but some of the messages from people that can sit behind fake email addresses, but who knows whether they're real or not, that I've seen, something that nobody would ever want their son. I treat my players like my own sons. I don't have a son, I have 3 daughters, but I put myself in his parents' shoes, and our administration's seen the stuff that I've seen, and it's appropriate. It's nothing a college kid should have to go through. So I think if you were able to see what I've seen, you'd understand why that's going on right now.
Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13 in Birmingham. Coach, a year ago in San Diego, we had JQ went down with a knee injury. I just talked to Lyle Kane this morning. He said 6 months is not normal for a comeback. What does that show, the things behind closed doors that people didn't see with the recovery? And he's clicking right now at the right time, it seems like.
Look, Dr. Kane's one of the best in the business. We're fortunate to have, in my opinion, the best sports doctors in the country right here in Birmingham that are our team doctors. So, with the help of Lyle Kane, our trainer Clark Coulter, we got a new strength coach this year, Henry Barrera, all those guys, the team of people that helped him come back. And then the most important thing is Javon's will to recover himself. I mean, he worked his tail off. I saw him on the side. He worked hard. And then he was willing to come back when maybe his game wasn't perfect. Some guys would have continued to sit out until they felt, no, he came back, wanted to jump back in with this group, and I've talked about how tight-knit and close and the chemistry with this group, how it's been. He wanted to come in and help his teammates, and then also the quicker he was able to get on the floor, the more he could kind of get the rust. You can only get the rust knocked off so much in practice. So when he came for that South Alabama game and he was cleared and ready to go, and we'd kind of got up large enough, like, JQ, you want to get some minutes in the game? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I thought that was pretty cool. We got him in that quick. Now, you see how well he's playing now. I don't know if he's playing as well now as he is if we didn't get him started when we did, because he went through some slumps. I mean, you've got to, in your mind, if you're coming back from an injury, you've got to be able to fight through the fact that, it's going to take a little bit to get more comfortable. So he went up, came down. He's on an upward trajectory right now with his play, and it's needed because we needed. He was great. I thought he was maybe the best player on the floor against A&M. Did an unbelievable job defensively against Wade Taylor, who's one of the best guards in our league, one of the better guards in the country, and then he was good on the offensive side of the ball too in that game.
Nate Kelly, Tuscaloosa News. Nate, you mentioned Tuesday not knowing your opponent for that practice. Just you guys were going to work on yourselves a little bit. What were some of those points of emphasis, or what were kind of things that you guys coming into these games are focusing on?
You know what? I think on offense, when the ball's moving, we're better. We want to make sure the ball's moving. We call it our .5 game. Once we force an advantage, the first guy to touch the ball out of the advantage has a half a second to make his decision whether he's going to shoot, drive, or make the next pass. And that next guy's got .5 to do that. We want the ball popping. So we worked on that. We got some shooting drills, some advantage drills to work on that. Defensively, we worked on getting some individual defense back down. Your team defense is always best when your individual defense at its highest level. So we have some drills we worked on with that, and then we worked a little bit in transition. When you're playing, when your practices only come the day after a game or the day before a game, you don't want to get up and down the floor a whole lot. So we were able to get up and down the floor and work, make sure our transition's tight. We play in transition a lot, but some games we've been less efficient than others, so we tried to work on a little bit of that. And that's really about it, because we didn't want to go too long. We want to make sure that our legs are fresh, because we got to play 2 games in 3 days, and we need to make sure that they're fresh for both those games, provided we get by the first game.
Up front.
Yeah, Tony Reese, WTVM Sports 9 out of Columbus, Georgia. Coach, talk about the success your team has had this season, just kind of knowing that you're the #1 team, ultimately the team to beat in this tournament. Kind of how do you block out the outside noise, and really what's been the motivation game in and game out to try to make a deep run?
Yeah, our guys have been really mature about kind of focusing on the task at hand. So, how do you play well tomorrow? Well, you practice great today. Well, how do you make sure you practice great today? You make sure your mind's where your feet are at. So our video session last night, our guys were great. A lot of guys stayed on and studied a lot more video on their own last night because they had great questions during our video session this morning. Our video session this morning, they had a lot of good, our coaches bring stuff. We're open enough, like if you players got points you want to make, ideas you've got, bring them. We're the coaches are here to help you guys get better and make you the best you can be. And I think it's that mentality of we're all in this together. We're trying to get to be the best we can be, and let's just make sure we're all focused and have a great practice. I thought we had a really good practice day. We only went an hour. We're going to get 40 minutes to shoot, so we want to make sure they're fresh. But I think great practices, great video sessions lead to playing well, and I think our guys have done that all year.
Last question right here.
Kyrgios at WVTM. Nate, we've talked a lot this season, but you know the intangibles from a team. You know when you have a basketball IQ, you know when you have talent. But I know you've wanted to create a winning culture. At what point in the season do you see that come to fruition for a team? And also, how much of that is encouragement from the coaching staff or just the guys that you have in the locker room?
You know what? Quick story to kind of talk about that. I think, we had the foreign trip this summer, so that helped everybody kind of get tighter, closer. They're over in Europe, in non-English speaking countries, hanging out. So I thought we developed a pretty good bond through the summer. And then the rules in Division I are you get 2, either scrimmage, exhibition, whatever, before you play real games. Well, we had a close scrimmage at TCU to open up our first. We won the 3 games over in Europe, so everybody's feeling good. And everybody's got great culture in the summer from what I think. Well, the first time we played somebody else, I think we were down 30 at the half at TCU. We had a lot of freshmen, a lot of new players. I think over 75% of our scoring this year is coming from newcomers. So first time we played somebody, and TCU had, I think, the most production back maybe of any high major team in the country. So it was a great scrimmage to get. That was part of the plan. I didn't plan on losing the half by 30, but we did. Then the second half went a little better. Brandon kind of asserted himself, and we're not going to get drilled like we did in the first half. So he was better, but we still lost it. So we got back, nothing to do with the coaches, completely the players. They had a players-only meeting the next day. Noah Gurley, Javon Quinterly, some of the guys that have been around, like, this is not what we envisioned. This is not what we said we're going to be about. This is not who we are. I don't know what was said in the meeting, but at that point, I knew the culture was headed there. Now, we hadn't won a game. We just got drilled. But I knew we were about the right stuff because the next practices completely flipped. Then we had our next exhibition game against Southern Illinois, who's a good team, and we played much better. We came out in the first game and looked completely different than we had in that close scrimmage. Then maybe the next one, after we played here, we only played in Birmingham once this year. It was against Gonzaga, and we weren't very good. It turned into an offensive shootout. There was no defense being played on our side. We got back from that game. We lost the game. I kind of asked the players, like, what happened? Just said we didn't do what we needed to on the defensive end. I said, so when we're playing defense, the offense a lot of times takes care of itself. We're one of the best teams in the country. When we forget about playing defense, we're a really average team. So they kind of admitted to me exactly what I would have told them, but it's a lot better when you ask them and they come up with it themselves. So, and really some of our freshmen were saying that. So when we lost to Gonzaga, sometimes you need a wake-up call. We kind of got ourselves woke up, and then the loss at Oklahoma was another one. So we haven't had many losses, but I felt like the response after every one, and us getting better at the stuff we weren't good at in those losses, and we fixed it, and let's make sure it doesn't rear up again. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. So, that's a couple of the stories I'd have for you on the question you asked. So appreciate you guys' time. Thanks. Roll Tide.
We'll have Iowa players at 1:20.